Good day and welcome to Soulful Scrutiny, a show where we dig into the soul of those who appear on the show and try to get to the bottom of who is this person. So today we are in the studio with Miss Judy Boucher, who is an entertainer, very popular, very energetic entertainer. And Miss Boucher is very well known in the Caribbean, in North America, in England, in Africa. She's extremely well known. So today we have a very wonderful opportunity to be able to sit with this young lady and really get down to who she really is. Welcome to Soulful Scrutiny.
Thank you, Trisha.
Okay.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here, absolutely.
In most circles, you don't really need any introduction where your professional career is concerned.
Yeah.
But today, we at Soulful Scrutiny like to get down into the nitty gritty.
Yes,
the woman behind the profession.
Right, okay.
Now, you are from St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean originally?
Yes, that's right, yes.
And you went to England, I understand, when you were about 15?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Georgetown, Dixon.
Okay.
Matter
That's a
of
part
fact.
of Georgetown.
Yes,
Okay.
it's way up. And I grew up there with my brothers and sisters' mom. But my mom left when I was probably about 9-ish.
How many brothers, how many sisters?
5 brothers, 4 sisters.
Wow, big family.
So there is a lot of us.
Okay.
And happy to say we're all still alive.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
okay. What number are you?
I'm number 5.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I happen to be one of the few people who read your autobiography. And it's not out yet.
No,
So, and I don't want to give away the story.
Yeah, that's true.
But I must say it has given me great insights into the tenacity and your tenacity, that is,
Okay.
and your propensity to persevere in even the most trying circumstances.
Yes.
Reading that book, it really let me know what a survivor you are, a fighter. You know, and so when people would say, she's so lucky, I am looking at you and I'm saying, there's no luck here. This is hard work and a lot of guts. Okay?
Yes, that is quite true. A lot of people think I was probably born with a silver spoon or gold spoon in my mouth. They don't know my life.
Wow.
And but when mommy came away to England, I was left with older siblings, my 2 sisters, and there was still younger one, and my sisters were barely teenagers as well.
Oh, wow.
But my mother had a vision, and I have to say, a woman of great strength.
That's where you got your strength.
Yes, I think so. I think so. She didn't just give up and let me just sit here and just carry on with the domestic work, because she used to work in a place called Chile Village with Dr. Childs and cook. And I remember as a little girl, Mom used to come home very late at night from all the banquets and dinners.
Oh, wow.
And I used to wake up, you know, in the middle of the night, and Mommy used to come in and sit with her food on her lap and eat, because she was so hungry after walking home from Chile, you know.
And have to contend with her own children.
Yes. But she coped very well, and then she decided, I think Mommy was probably in her late 40s, and she decided that she's going to England.
Make a life.
She's going to England to make a life for us.
Okay.
You know, and that's how it started. And when I came up to about 10 years old, I was sent off to Kingston.
Capital city. Okay. And how was that for
Didn't really
a
understand
country
why.
girl going to the big city?
Wow, it was a bit of a shocker to me.
Oh, wow.
Because I was leaving not only my sisters, but there were nieces and nephews behind. And Dixon, nice place. Everybody knew Judy, They used to call me names. But I realize now that the names they called me was kind of nice name to them. When people are calling you redhead, Abadi.
So that's natural, is that right?
Most of it is natural.
Okay.
There's a little highlight here,
Okay.
but my hair was naturally red,
Right.
and the sun made it red. So red that the people used to say that, look at your hair, it's just like sulphur grass.
Wow.
You know? And Abadi, mulatto. Because
You're probably brown up now.
I browned up a bit more now. Yeah, but I was kind of really pale. But I think my father lived nearby and he made me very proud. He used to say things to me and made me realize that he used to say, because my father's name was Mac Barnett, and he used to say, "You're Mac Barnett, and I love you." And then the neighbors would say when I was born that my elder brother, he had to take back seat. Because I was princess.
So you were made to feel special at a young age,
yes,
and therefore you,
yes.
you know, you grew up with good self-esteem.
Yes.
Now, I mentioned before your tenacity and that capacity to persevere.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? Where did that come from? Where did that strength come from?
Okay, when I went to Kingstown to live, I was living with relatives. But with that came a lot of hard work. I didn't play. I didn't have friends. But I did go to school for roughly about 5 years.
Okay.
And that. But I had chores to do. Plenty of chores.
So it's sort of like you were the little helper, more so than being a part of the family.
It was. It was. And I didn't ask questions because there was no one to ask.
Right.
You know, I was in town now, and I wasn't really happy with the situation, but I'm here.
Right.
And there wasn't anything I could do about it.
So you at an early age, you learn that you take whatever hand life throw your way, and you make the best of it. Instead of complaining, you know, you probably were very scared at that age, being
I was very
with
scared.
people you didn't know, but
I was terribly scared of breaking things. You know, I didn't feel like I was very close in the family. So a lot of people would say, they describe it as being a house girl.
Okay.
But I persevered, I carried on, I went to school. And at 15, this whole thing was going on. I remember at one point that I wrote to my mom. I said, "Mommy, please, could you send me some dye for my hair?" It was so distressing. Honestly, it was no joke. "Please, could you send some black dye for my hair, because this torment is too much."
Oh Lord.
And
in St. Vincent we don't have many redheads.
and what Mommy wrote back and said no. She says, "When you come to England, you see people are dyeing their hair your color." Right? And right away I thought, that's not helping. That's not
But
helping.
in her own way, she was teaching you to accept yourself.
Yes.
You see, so you had Daddy on one hand who would tell you, "Listen, you're back bonnet and you have a lot to be proud of." And you got Mom who's saying, "Listen, people would like to have what you have."
So at that time, no, Daddy was in the country. And about the time that I went to live in town, Daddy was living with another lady. Daddy and Mommy were never married, but I used to see Daddy's house from our house. So he was there. He would bring home things like body line. And you remember what body line?
Yeah, body line, of course. It's a cake.
And salted peanuts.
Yes.
And juicy and all sorts. So Daddy was always across there.
Right. And those arrangements in the Caribbean, I don't know about here so much. In the Caribbean, those arrangements were not uncommon. Where Daddy live one place, Mom live one, and they have children, they have a family. Just not necessarily in the traditional, living in the same house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So at 15, just about the time when Mommy said, about your hair and such a thing, I didn't tell her she's not helping much, but in my mind I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do now? So, however, and soon after that came a letter.
Okay.
That I was to fix up to go to England.
To go to England. Okay. Now, did you get to go back to Dixon to say bye, or you just left?
No, I didn't get to go back to Dixon, and I never saw my father
again
after that. And I think I just got to England when I realized that he'd passed away, but I never got, to say goodbye to anybody and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Miss Boucher, Judy Boucher, is known for her romantic songs, and I tell you, this is something I learned. I learned that even when you don't think you've heard of her, if you play her songs, you'll be like, oh, that's so saying, oh, okay. And so she's very well known in various communities for that type of music. Can't Be With You Tonight. Tell us some of the other songs.
Tears on My Pillow, Mr. Dream Maker, I'm a Survivor, which is one that I wrote myself.
Right.
And it's basically about me.
Yes, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. Reading that autobiography, that night we met. That reading your autobiography, that's how I would describe you, as a true survivor, and really just an enormously strong person.
Absolutely.
You know, life knocked you down quite a few times, but you just got right back up.
Very. And I had no choice. I had no choice. And I think the reason for that, I think I actually, once I got to England to meet Mom, I didn't get a chance to go back to school. So I started working at 15 years old. Did several jobs in laundromat and sort of like places where they make clothing, that kind of thing. And I didn't quibble about it. I went to evening classes, did some courses. But basically I did carry on working so that I can help Mom to send money home for the others and get the others to come up to England.
Right.
So, yeah.
You know, if I was to ask you these two questions, I'm going to ask you two questions, and I want you to you can think for a minute and then just answer. Okay. It's one thing I know about you, is you're a very honest person. You're very down to earth, you're a very honest person. What makes you tick?
What makes me tick? Would you elaborate a little bit more?
Like, what makes you tick? Like, for instance, for me, my children make me tick. Business makes me tick.
Right.
But most importantly, I think if I was to round it all up, is being able to balance. That's the one thing I understand. It's not about doing this, doing that, doing the next, but balancing it and making sure.
Yeah.
So what makes you tick?
My children. Firstly, because I was in a group with my brother. My brother is the one that discovered me.
Right.
And we started off with a group called Judy Jack and the Beanstalks. And from there, and now at the age of 20, I had a daughter.
So you're 20 years old.
20, and that was the biggest horror. I didn't take it lightly, because I was the kind of person who thought, well, I'll marry first and have children after. If I'm going to have children, it will be in that order. But it happened.
And being the true Judy that you are.
Yeah, I had to accept it. And at the time, I was devastated because myself and my brother, we were quite close. The one that we call Bruce is the one right up before me. And we did so much together. And then when he discovered, literally, he said to me one day, sing for me. And
you realized you had some talent.
And then I started singing and he just stopped. He couldn't play anymore. And he said, oh my God, what a beautiful voice. And I said, yeah, you just saying that because you're my brother. You're supposed to say nice things to me, you know? But we did form a group and we became very popular. We were popular with everyone. If the people in the community, they embraced us, this brother and sister, and we loved it, they loved us, and we were going along merrily until I think it's possibly around, we were going for maybe about 10 years, and then my brother decided that he's getting married, and and he's moving on. He's moving away.
Moving away.
Moving away. And at that time I thought, what am I going to do now?
Right.
But I had there were other groups, but I didn't feel like I wanted to play in another group. The steel bands, they used to call me occasionally to fill in, like when they've got a banquet, I will go and sing. But it really wasn't my thing. And so when Bruce was gone, I had my daughter at 20, and I got married 2 years after, and gave it up.
Okay. Because you gave it up a couple of times, if I recall correctly. At least at some
No,
point.
it was just once.
That one time? Okay, but you got right back in there.
I didn't get right back in right away. I gave it up and had my lovely daughter, got married, and 7 years after my daughter was born, I had my second child. That was the time I was married.
Okay.
But when my son was about 3 years old, my whole life took a turn. And I just thought it was possibly the end of my life, end of my world.
You want to elaborate? You want to share a little bit of it
Well,
with us? Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, he became schizophrenic.
Your husband? Okay.
He became schizophrenic. And I don't think he was aware of what he was doing, what was happening to him.
Right.
So that really had an adverse effect on me. I was just like, I was in the lines then.
I read in your autobiography, and again, we don't want to give too much of it away, but I read in your autobiography the way that you handled that, and even to this day, the compassion that you have for him. And, some people would have just been angry. And your thing was you knew that this was not something that he was responsible for. Even as you're speaking, I could see you teared up a little bit. Because it was a painful time for you.
It was very painful. I mean, he did some strange things. And I knew that I never knew anyone with schizophrenia before, but certain things happened when you see someone would be fighting with imaginary people and the voices telling him to do things. I mean, not good things.
Yeah.
Not good things.
Okay. I didn't mean to take you there, but sometimes we got to pause a little bit, right? So, in spite of all of that was happening, you maintained such humility and serenity in the face of all that. Where did you go to get that kind of calm? With all of that, you got children, you're trying to build a career, keep a roof over your head, you have a husband who's suffering from mental illness, and you're still, if I look at you, that's about you're in great shape. I wish I could be in your shape. So I know for me, I used to do yoga, I haven't done it lately. I do breathing exercises to kind of calm my mind, because I'm not having problems with sleeping and all that. But what is it that, I don't know if I could have handled all of that.
When I started looking back, there was a period when things got so tough. Because you imagine you living with this person who could hurt you, and because there wasn't there was no peace, there was no peace. So what I used to do, I used to put my little baby in the stroller and go and walk around the close. It's like a nice flat area like here, so we used to go for a little walk with him in the stroller, so just so I can be at peace. And one day I saw a sign that said Mother and Baby Group. And I thought, let me call that. And that's where I used to go. I joined the group. I used to go with my son. And we used to go there and we used to do aerobics.
Okay, so you found an
Rock
outlet.
the baby, sit there and watched us.
And I think I read somewhere you still do aerobics today.
Yes, I still do. I wish I could find a group in Beckway. There's none.
Form one. Form your own.
I'm not sure that I have the time to do that. But yes, and I carried on doing aerobics, and that every time I did it, I felt so good. I really, really, really felt good. And I think that kept me. But when you talk about my life and how I got through it, I have to say, I think it was a wake-up call. I don't know what was going on because I used to get so exhausted and helpless. There were times when I wished that I could be in the mountains. And guess what? Guess why?
Why?
Because I wanted to scream loud. But if I did that where I live, they'd probably have me...
Committed.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. And I prayed a lot. There were times when I couldn't even kneel. But I knew that I had to say something. I would lie there. And most of the times, I didn't say a lot. I just said, please, God, help me.
I must say, your mother was an inspiration in the way she stood by you and gave you unlimited support. Is your mothering style similar to hers? Like I, in some ways, some value systems I have for my mother, I could say, wait. But I think my mothering style is different. But some people, I'll be honest, my mother, like some of the things that these kids do, my mother would not have tolerated that.
Right.
We're coming to America, of a younger generation and all of that. I'm not necessarily
I think I'm a pretty strict mother because I want to have, I think I wanted model children. And I got them.
And they're not perfect, are they?
No, but I got them. Sometimes it's just like, oh my God, what have I got here? I come away, and if they don't hear me in one day, it's just like, Mom, what's up? Why didn't you call?
You know, some people would die to have that.
Yeah.
You know?
They're great.
But your mom really stayed, and she just really seemed in the book to be that mother that whatever you needed her for, and when you had something you were struggling with, she would be the person that said,
she
do
was
it,
there.
if that's what you want to do.
And that's the person, she was the only person I had really. You know, everybody had their own family and their own life. But if I wanted something, I could ask Mom. I didn't ask her for a lot. And if she wanted something doing, instead of asking my brothers, she would ask me. To go and do it.
There's always that one in the family.
There's always one. But Mom was there, and the children, oh my gosh, they loved her so much.
Because she was always like, you know, taking care of them for you so you could go to work, and that was really nice. I really loved the relationship.
Yeah, I have an older sister who was also very, because at one point, you know, my mom was still working, but then there was an older sister who had children, so when my daughter started going to school, I'd take her to my sister. She'd go to school nearby. You know, all that.
So you guys are a close-knit family.
Yeah.
What, I want you to think about this. What brings you the greatest joy? And conversely, what brings you the greatest sorrow? think carefully.
I think the greatest joy is seeing how my children turned out. They kept me grounded. They kept me grounded. If it wasn't for my children, I don't know what I would have done. I remember going to South Africa and they wanted me to move there. And in Cape Town.
They love you in Cape Town.
Oh my gosh. But I said, no, can't do this. I have 2 children and I want them to be educated. I want them to get everything that I didn't get. You know? So I said, no, I won't do that.
And be around that extended family that is supportive.
Yeah. So that it gave me joy because they work so hard. You know, they want to be model students. And they both were. You know. So I'm really, it gave me, I remember, apart from the goose pimples I got from like some of the shows that I did, when I attended my son's graduation from university, and we didn't know this, but he got his degree because he's a linguist.
Oh, he's a linguist? Okay.
Yeah, and he's got his degree, And apart from that, when they announced that my son Collis has won the award for Translator of the Year in the whole of England and Wales. Mm-hmm. And to him it's just like, oh wow.
But to Mama,
oh my goodness. I thought, wow. And even now he just like, okay. Mm-hmm. You know. But both of them did well. Andrea, she's incredible. Now she's a mother, and she's also a chartered accountant.
Okay. So you have grandchildren?
Yeah.
How many? 3. Oh wow. How many boys? How many girls?
Two girls and one boy.
One boy. Okay. So at least you have both sexes. So the flip of that question is, or the converse of that question is, what brings you the greatest sorrow?
The greatest sorrow. I would say there are 2 things. The breakup of the marriage and the death of my mom.
When Mom passed away in that book, I cried along with you in that book, because I read that book, like I stayed up, you know the story, I stayed up and read that autobiography, and when Mom died, I felt it.
Yeah.
You know, I felt your pain, because that was your rock, you know?
She was my rock. Mm-hmm. Because I have to say that I didn't remember that gap between me being a little girl and seeing my mom again. It was quite a big gap.
Quite a big gap.
And so when I met her, I didn't know her. Mm-hmm. I don't think I did even see a photo of mommy. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know what she looked like. So I had to get used to mommy. And you know that there could be problems when you don't know. And she became my mom, my best friend, and everything, and the respect.
Yeah, and the suddenness, I know which had happened too. That must have been very painful.
I knew she was ill, but the way it happened. But when you look back now, but she knew that she was dying because I remember seeing her on a Friday. I usually pop in from work on my way home. Right. I pop into Mom, and Mom was like, she seemed very elated about something. Wow. And she was talking, and she was telling me what to do because she's going over the other side. Oh, okay. And I'm saying, Mom, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And she even told me that she had an insurance policy, and it's maturing, and that I need to send for my other sister from St. Vincent. Wow. Okay, that was the Friday. She told me a few other personal things. But then by the Monday,
she was gone.
She was gone. And how they found Mom, she was actually, she was up, she was dressed, and she was waiting for the pastor to go to church.
Wow. What a way to go.
And so when they came, and they were knocking on the door, because my brother lived there as well, and they were knocking, and then he went and opened the door because he didn't. But she was dressed and she sat on the edge of the bed and she was waiting. So the heart attack must have got and she just went backwards. Wow. On the bed. Wow. Well, but that was the strangest thing.
She knew.
She knew, and I felt it because I was at home. Everybody seemed to have gone down to see Mom that weekend. I remember going to the park with my son, and you know, rides and things to eat. It was like a holiday. And he said, Mom, I'm going to see Gran. I'll be back in like an hour or 2. So he went up to see Mom nearby, and then he came back. But Andrea was away at university. And so after the talking and everything with Mom, I think most people had seen Mom that weekend.
Something instinctively probably.
Yeah. And we'd gone home from the fair, went to bed, and in the early hours of the morning, there's something woke me. Something woke me, and I sat up. I'm thinking, it's a strange feeling. What is this? And something said to me, go downstairs and wait. So I got up because I felt that the phone was going to ring for some reason. Something's happened. So I went downstairs and wait. And within 10 minutes, my brother called and says, Mommy's passed.
Mom passed. Well, they say, you know, when people have that great of a connection,
Yeah.
usually you could sense something, you know. Now, next question I'm going to ask you is, what do you want your legacy to be? Like, my legacy, you know, I did a cultural retrieval program in St. Vincent.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I say, I'm not going to make money from this, I'm going to spend money. But I'm not going to make money from this. But what I do want is for it to be remembered as someone who made that effort to make a difference in terms of returning the culture, the original culture to St. Vincent. So that probably is going to be my legacy.
Yeah.
What do you want your
Well,
legacy?
my legacy, I think I know what it is. I make a lot of people happy. I do charitable work. And people never forget to tell me what a change I've made to their life. It's amazing that the amount of people that says, I'm married because of you. I've got my daughter because of you. As yet, no divorce because of me.
That is good.
Honestly. And when I watch people and I see their faces, and like you see on the Facebook, the happiest Father's Day ever. And you know, the happiest Mother's Day ever.
Right.
That makes me very happy.
You know, one of the things that I always hear people say, everybody who we both know, we have mutual friends or people who you know and I know, and the first thing everybody would say, she is so humble, she's so down to earth, you know. You were here in the New York area, you know, and you did something at Father's Day event, and I think a lot of people were just very happy to see.
Oh wow, yeah. It was good. I mean, I can't be who I'm not. This is just me. What's the point in showing off?
Putting on airs.
I was given a gift, and I'm just using it. Because a lot of times people remind me that, don't forget, you've got that gift. You use it. Because, you know, God can take it back at any time.
That's true. That's true. When you get a gift, you have got to use it.
And I really, a few years ago, I think it was 2012, I was working a lot in the Caribbean. I think that was 2012 it was, so I was doing the islands back to back. And then I remember doing a Mother's Day show in Dominica.
Wow.
Right? Oh, wow, it was amazing.
The Belizeans that talk about you. Jamaicans talk about you. Everybody in the Caribbean loved this lady.
Yeah, and then I got on a flight. I was just on and off the planes, not even getting the chance to go back to Bequia. And then on Dominica, I got a cold. I knew how it happened because my instinct tells me, if you're going to go in the hot spring, don't go in the cold one.
Right.
But they keep saying that is the best one. But I should have followed my mind and not going. But I went in. And the next day, I cannot get up.
Oh dear.
Everything, my throat.
Everything clogged up.
So I had this, and then I went to the pharmacy and he said, okay, I'll fix you.
Now, you are moved back to St. Vincent, but a little island off of St. Vincent called Bequia, which is a part of the St. Vincent and Grenadines. And so you're living there, and you go back and forth to visit your relatives and your children and so forth in Europe.
I do.
How is retirement? Well, let me first say this. We often work hard in retirement, don't we?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like you can't quite sit still.
But no, I'm not retired from music.
Yes.
Don't forget, Trisha, I had 2 jobs. Remember when I was going through all that stuff?
You had regular jobs.
I had a regular job. People didn't know this.
I was shocked when I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to run away for a weekend. I used to look at my leave card, and if somebody says, Judy, can you do this show in St. Lucia? And I was okay, I'll have to go and check the leave book and make a request. Could I have 2 days off? if other people have got them, maybe I would.
Right.
So I used to take those days and then go off to St. Lucia.
And fly back here and go back to your regular job.
Flying all over the place. I remember one time I was doing a country music festival in St. Lucia. And when I think back, I'm like, God, you must have been mad. I've flown from London to JFK, to Puerto Rico, to St. Lucia.
Wow.
And the same thing all the way back and having to go to work.
Oh my goodness. Do you think that is why people love you so much and really identify with you so much? Is that on one hand you're this celebrity and somebody who's had great success in your music, but yet you have this kind of charming, just lovely person. There's somebody anybody would love to sit with. I love your laugh. You have a contagious smile. You know, you think because of your ability to navigate normal lifestyle and celebrity lifestyle, that's probably where people identify with you?
That's right.
Yes.
So, I mean, a lot of people said to me, have you ever thought of giving up? But why should I? What am I going to do? Just sit down and do what?
I agree.
I think when the day comes, I would know.
You would know. That's true.
You know? But they're saying to me, wow, your voice is like fine wine. It gets better.
Give me about 7-8 years and I'll join you down into this. Now, I'm doing the whole interview and I know people are looking at you and they might be wondering, you have a wedding band, at least something on your wedding paper.
No,
are you married?
It's not a wedding band at all. It's,
okay.
It's just a
ring?
It's just a ring.
Okay. You never remarried?
No.
Okay. Now,
that is not going to happen.
Okay, but the queen of romance, I said the same thing, but I said that before I got married the second time. but there would be no third one for me. But you are the queen of romance.
So to say.
You are the queen of romance.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave with some of your ballads. Now, dear Mr. Judy Boucher?
No. I have to say, Trish, not lucky.
Not lucky.
Not lucky. I remember some young friend of my daughter saying, but Judy, you are so unlucky. No, there isn't even a boyfriend.
But that's okay, because I found one of the happiest moments in my life is when I took a break from that stuff and just said, let me find Trish.
Yeah.
And you know what? I spent so many of my years from the time I was 21, I got my first marriage, and then raised my daughter, got a second marriage.
Yeah.
Let me do Trish.
Yeah.
And that is when I found it. And after a while, you know, you have set yourself up. You have your grandchildren, your children, and your hobby and your career to keep you happy. You want to know the truth? Sometimes I just don't know where to have the space to put that man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, where would you find the space? Who wants to be my boyfriend? I don't have the time for you.
Well, to be quite honest, I would say it would be nice to have someone in your corner.
A companion.
Who understands you and you understand them. You know, and one thing that I do feel when I travel, I go away and I have these amazing shows. And then I come back to the airport and I see people embracing because their wife or boyfriend is home.
And you, right.
Yeah.
But you know something though, I believe that in life everything happens.
Everything happens for a reason.
Time. And I think it is better to be by yourself than to be in something that is not healthy. Yeah,
it's good to be at peace.
Because sometimes when you're a successful woman, it's almost like putting a financial target on your back.
Right.
For the wrong guy.
Yes.
So I'd rather have somebody good who brings something to the relationship and we both make each other happy.
It's true.
Than I have somebody just to say I have a boyfriend.
Yeah. I don't have any stress. And as far as I can see, all the men in my life brought me stress.
You sound like me. I haven't had one that haven't brought me stress. So after a while, you know, say, you know what?
If there's somebody out there who can accept me for me and what I do, because there are things in my life that I don't like. As a young girl, one of the things that I hated most because I did so much of it was ironing. So anybody's gonna come and think Judy's gonna iron shirts.
But you might get
somebody. Not gonna happen.
But you might get somebody who will iron your shirt. You know?
No.
Here's what I say. I would not rule out romance. I don't rule it out.
No, I wouldn't
but
rule out.
It is not a priority for me. It is not a top priority. I'm not out here dying and trying to meet a guy. I have no problem having guys approach me.
But you know
But
what?
do I want to give them the time and they're the right person?
And I'm not going to go looking for him.
I don't go looking. Yes.
If I think if it's going to happen, it will.
Yes. It will happen naturally, and you would know in your heart that this person seems like a right person to at least have a companion. I can see myself having a companion, but I'm too stubborn right now. I don't think anybody want to live with me. I don't think anybody want to live with me. You know what I mean?
And you know, I'm not in any way a difficult person. I'm a serene person.
I'm more high strung, like you're the calm. I'm more high strung, but I think for me, I've now been on my own now for like almost 4 years, like 3.5 years. You're about living on my own, no husband, taking the time to understand me.
Yeah,
and I love it. I love it. I love the space. I answer to no one. That doesn't mean it's not nice to have somebody. Like you see that person to meet you at the airport, or the call, you talk on the phone at night.
Go to dinner,
exactly.
Go to the movies.
Go see. But you know what? I find things to fill my life with. Like I have a group of ladies that go to see Broadway plays, and we go to dinner afterwards. I have friends. If I have to go to a party, I can call them. If I just need somebody to go with me. But again, I don't make it a top priority.
Yeah.
We meet. You know what it is? We found peace.
I like to do nice things. I like to possibly go to a ball. You know, I actually took off and did a cruise all by myself last year.
Oh wow!
16 days.
Wow.
I did it all by myself.
Wow.
Because my friends were saying, "Oh, we can't afford it," but I wanted to go on a cruise, and I did.
You're brave.
I did. It was wonderful.
I don't go to restaurants by myself, and I wouldn't go cruise by myself. You know what I'll do? I'll buy a ticket for my sister to come go with me. Okay. But I gotta try that one day. I think when you can do that, that is great.
I'll do anything. I go to a restaurant and I sit down. I'm paying for my meal. I sit down. And you know why? I learn from Europe, from Germany, from Spain. Women, they go out and have dinner. They're not going to sit at home waiting for a man to take them.
Right.
I go and buy my meal. So, you know, I think, you know, years ago people used to think, well, a woman shouldn't be in a bar. Yes, she comes in, she has a glass of wine, and then she goes home.
Yeah, we're working, we pay our own bills, we can go have a glass if we want to. Now, where's your music available?
Music is available online through iTunes and Amazon.com.
Oh, okay, because I'm about to get me some Judy Boucher music, so when I'm driving, I could play those. I'm telling you, it's so romantic. And the next Mr. Trish, if you want to win some points with me, you need to play Miss Judy Boucher music. You want to set up a nice date and play some music?
You know,
play Miss Judy Boucher.
I don't even know what's available in the shops because I give up looking for one reason. When I start looking, I find things, and that can be upsetting because you know how the bootleggers and that. Yeah, so I don't look at all. So now all my stuff now, I have them online, and that way I know I can get something. Something, right? That's true. Yeah, a lot of, and it's a shame though because even like a lot of performers, you know, kind of give up on something because people are bootlegging stuff instead of just giving. You know, if you have somebody whose music you like, always feel like give them the credit to say, you know, so they could be encouraged to keep producing beautiful music. Because a lot of artists give up because of that. Because you spend it on recording is not a cheap. It's not a cheap thing at all. Yeah. So what do you want to leave our audience with? Well, I would like to say to all you wonderful people who are looking at this interview, thank you for taking the time out. And stay tuned and check your social media time and time again because it appears that shows are happening and you don't know. Because I've had so many calls yesterday saying we didn't know about the show and that. So, but thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Okay. Well, Ms. Judy Boucher, it was a pleasure having you on Soulful Scrutiny. And we hope to have you back. The next time you come back, we're going to do a couch, stretch off couch. We can stretch off and just talk. Thank you. Thank you. Indeed.
my love wasn't here with me tonight, I would live with you for just a little while. But I love him the same way as I love you now, and I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight. Though I want to hold you in my arms tonight, I couldn't take the chance, 'cause it won't be right. You caught my eyes as you walked towards my pathway. I couldn't turn away, my eyes won't let me. I thought I was dreaming, but you stand right in my way, and all my eyes can see is you. If this is love, my dear, welcome to my world, and let us share the good times.